It's me.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, my name is Marco. For those of you who don't know me, I like Sam, who's been in the intersection of a couple of projects. I'm actually in the intersection of all the awesome projects in the blockchain for good space. And I'm really proud to say this. I'm really happy about it, that I really can work on amazing projects. So the Common Stack, the Give-It, the One, I've been with the Give-It One a couple of years ago, now with the Give-It Two. Token Engineer Commons, you name it, everything that we're working together here in the community. I'm working on those projects as a designer. So, and I'm a designer for more than like 10 to 15 years, been working in this space. And since I guess last 4 or 5 years, been actively working in the Ethereum community, and I truly enjoy it. And I'm the lead designer of the Common Simulator game. So yeah, that's me. Distractions, none except my connection is unstable. And intentions, popcorn time, right?
Yeah.
And I'll pass it over to Luca. Yeah.
Yeah, Luca. So show us what you got, Luca.
Sure. Yeah.
Sorry if I can just interject for a second, Griff. Sorry to interrupt everybody. Griff, can we maybe have a recap of everything, just you and me, and maybe Marco? Let's say sometimes this week, just to sum it all up.
Yeah, sounds good. We can schedule in Telegram.
Okay, sure. Just I'm saying because I would like to go now, if that's okay with you guys. I think Luca has everything covered, and I would just like to, if we can then ping on Telegram, and then we can schedule a call sometime this week, if that's okay.
Sounds great.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Thanks, guys. Lovely to see you again. Hope to see you again soon.
Peace out. Yeah, for the starters, I've actually never done some code talking on my code, except between the coworkers and stuff.
No worries.
So
break dice.
This is the first time for me. So yeah, let's start this screen share. Share screen.
Just one thing, it is being recorded?
Yes, it's live on YouTube.
And it's also worth mentioning that if anyone is like, oh man, this is really cool, I want to help finish this task, we need a lead front end dev to finish this. So you do get paid for hourly works on this task. We have funding for it. So there will be some tweaks on this. So if you're interested in supporting this, pay careful attention, and it'll be issue-driven development. So.
Yeah, okay. Let's jump in. First off, it's done in Vue.js. I don't know if any have worked in it, probably, yeah. And basically, it's like folder structure is sort of like domain-driven design. So everything's like in their place, set up in folders. So if you have, keeps things organized if you like put stuff this way. We found it. So first off, have you guys worked in Vue? Anyone? No?
Yep, I am.
Nope.
Cool. Yeah, basically it's you have those little components and views. I'm using like Vue single file component structure where you've got like HTML and the JavaScript and the stylings, everything in one. So it keeps it like all in one place. So that's kind of, I find it nice. As for starters, I don't know, should we like go over from the beginning to the end? The biggest issues with this, it's not too big of a project, but the biggest issues were like animations and fine tuning them, etc. So here, like in folder structure, we have views and components, and basically views views are one-to-one to the router views URL. So if you go over to routes, you have all the like views placed where to the corresponding routes. And the only difference between components and views, they're syntactically the same, but views are basically used as routes, and then components you can inject in views, etc. So for the biggest frustrations and issues were setting up the transitions and stuff in the project, and basically Vue has its way of handling things, some wrappers from transitions, so that was kind of helpful. And I've also used some of the libraries like XState to more constrain those. I know it's not probably the most smart use of the library, but for like if you have state, first we are in the splash state, and then after a few seconds it will jump to the hero state, etc., etc. So we can see right here, home. Sorry. Yeah, okay. Basically, I have like home hero component, which is this one, and then when you press enter, then it goes to the next state and loads the home info component, etc. So that's like for the general structure. I also used I've predefined some components like chart for displaying charts, so you can just pass properties to those components, like chart data.
Which charts are they?
Chart.js.
Okay, and they are used in the levels, in all the levels, or just in the conviction voting one?
They are used in everywhere where charts are used, level 5 and results pages.
Okay, and it is styled based on Marco's design already, the chart itself.
Yeah, it's as close as it can get to the Marco's design. So let's skip this part. Other components that I've used mostly, like the navigation component, header components, if we skip to the header component that appears on every screen, basically the navigation component, which appears on these routes or these steps, and made some components for like the cylinders, the components, so you can basically just one line it and this one level 3. Where's the cylinder? Like the cylinder component, and then you just pass in the property. If you watch the properties like progress, type, I've set type so I can pick the colors easily, and progress basically corresponds to the input. And as for stylings on the page, we have some predefined, like let's say mini Bootstrap or whatever, no external libraries, but just some basic styles here that we use, and then some app-specific styles, classes also defined so they can be reused in components, and then in actual components and routes if I need anything else, I just add it scope to the component so it doesn't collide with other stuff. Yeah, I mean, it maybe it all looks gibberish to you probably now, but if you like spend half an hour or 1 hour in the code, you'll start to you would probably start to feel more comfortable with the code. We've also used Vuex here for the states. So that's basically the way you communicate state on a Vue project or site between the. So you could pass a state like in queries, state whatever, or you could pass it. You can pass it down to the. Nah, I. Sorry. Basically, Vuex helps to remember states and then reuse it on other pages. So if I go, let's say I put this to 71%, and if I go back and then come back to that page, it will stay the same. So this is the Vuex, where we have the most important module is the comments module. And here we have some like min-max is defined, minimum and maximum values for the forms. And these are actually variables that all the input fields will update these variables here. And for the basic action run simulation, it will then compiles the data here, form data, and then it will make a call. It will make a call with that exact data. So I don't know. A rough overview would be like entry point, application, then router views, which are made through the router, and then components, common components that are used or imported wherever I need them, global components that are imported globally, components, and those stuff can be like, I have main.js that's like main entry point for application, a main config where you set up some Vue plugins or whatever you need to do, and components where I set like global components so they can be reused easily without importing them in every place. Also, I have some utility components that like just help with generally creating the styles and grids and whatever. So I don't need to like grid component flexible, like basic layout components, basically. Model component that helps with, let's say, press exit. Let's just see how it's implemented. So to basically model. There's the model component. I import it globally, so I don't have to import it specifically. Ref, it's like a Vue.js way to fetch, to connect and use, like I would usually in basic JavaScript use IDs and then get selector or whatever to target that element. In Vue you can use refs, and then like these refs quit because it's like quit model, show or hide, like basic methods on the model. So that stuff helps with, and then I can just write whatever I need inside, so I don't have like 50 lines of code to create a simple model, but just like a few lines. And I don't know if you've actually clicked through the application and seen the bad outcomes also. Let's hope it works. Yeah. So I've also, Marcus, said to put the model for each of these. So you can find it in the results page, like model for each of those things. So you can insert whatever you need inside. See your future. This will, for now, I've just created the toggle button.
Wow.
To toggle between futures. But basically, outcome. I'm not sure how it will be handled exactly, but I'm taking the score from the response which I get from the API. Actually, there's no such thing right now there, so it will use the 800. Maybe do it like this. But if this score is like bigger or smaller than 800, like if it's bigger than 800, it will be a good future. I'm not sure what the logic will be, but just so you know, you can like fiddle with that stuff and implement the good or bad future.
Mm-hmm.
Santi, I hope you're watching some of this. The min and the max part and this stuff. We might beg you to just jump in there and adjust manually yourself.
Yeah, basically those stuff we have like an example where there's like you will rename it probably to environment just where you can set up the API URL for the API. Kappa, I know it's also defined here actually. Kappa, it will try to take the environment one or these predefined values. Kappa investigate ATP. And yeah, min max, you can adjust it to whatever you need.
Okay.
There's some stuff here that isn't basically used for now. I don't know if it will be used later, maybe like authentication module. Like those are store modules, authentication module comes for like handling logins or whatever. It's not implemented or whatever. It's just like a hint, basically.
Mm-hmm. I also like to ask if we want to add new levels in the future. How are the levels organized and how are they connected one with the other?
Yeah, you can basically go to, let's just do this. So you have like views and the router. In router you have the routes, and basically home. I've imported home from like views home view, home.vue view, and then you can just create a path for it and component, the actual component. You can also set the title, so when you go to like outcome, you can see that outcome. It says outcome up here. So yeah.
And the next button is you have to point the URL in the next button or not?
Yeah. Let's just the results. Oh, no, outcome. Button.
Well, I actually was thinking on each level. You click on a next button that brings you to the next level. Right.
Let's go to level. There's a button, and then you do.
Okay. You set up there the next level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also buttons. That's level 1 too. Let's just check in.
Because probably the thing that we need the most is to create new levels and modify the ones that already exist. So I think that it's the most important thing to have clear.
Yeah. Okay.
How a level is created and which are the components that you have been playing with and how you have been playing with them.
All right, I'll cover it. Just one thing, I've like set up the button. Then if you attribute it with commons, it will get the common styling. Otherwise, it's just like basic.
Okay.
So yeah, the main thing is a click handler to push route. You could also do it like methods handle button handler. This route to push on level 4.
Okay.
And then you could like bind the method. So if you need like something more complex, you'll probably.
And you in each level you set up. Are you setting up here a model because it's something that this level? Because you are in level 1, 2 right now.
Yeah.
Which I guess that is this one, the funding member.
Level 1, 2 is we can. I don't know how they're called in the. Actually, it's founding members here, but actually you probably call them hedgers.
Okay.
How many hedgers? Yeah, it's like I don't know, just naming conventions. Here it says founding members, so I. Yeah, named that.
Yeah. The idea is to compare the code with the screen. So if you can go to the code of the how many hatchers screen, I guess that it's that one. Yeah. Founding members, hatchers, only trusted experts. I think that this is the explanation.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a model in which it is the title is founding members, hatchers. I guess it's one of those screens. Maybe the previous to the intro. How many?
Wait, which text?
I am trying to understand the code and what it does. This title, how many hatchers will you choose initialize commons? Okay, that's the same screen.
Yeah, that's here.
And you have a model there that it's called funding members hatchers, and probably this is because we have a help button or something like that. When that okay.
Yeah, this one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's model. It's like positioned absolutely, like position absolute.
Okay.
CSS. So yeah, it's.
So when we need to. Okay, and it's always in the help, right?
Help. Yeah, help corresponds to I have it const header. Yeah, at help. Header. This is the header part that's reused over the flow of the whole application mostly. So if I go to const header.
Okay. So each level has its help in a model, right? That's the idea.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, it has a model defined here. But in this other component, const header, I just do like for start help at click emit help. It like emits the event, and then I catch the event with like at help refs model show.
Okay.
So it shows the model. So models.
So when we are copying a level and make a new level, we will have that part. We also will have a kind of selector or slider or whatever we want to put there.
Yeah.
And the value of what we are calculating, maybe we want to calculate kappa, for example, in the future. To select kappa in the future in order to have another parameter for the bonding curve.
Yeah,
so,
let's say we do the kappa.
Yeah.
Kappa. This is actually our thing we use at in our company for now, like a little plugin we wrote that handles the validation of forms. So if I put like required here, it will automatically, if the input is valid, then it will automatically like validate it. So
okay. So when we use form input type range, we have a slider that is already formatted in the command stack. That's really good. Wow, that's really good.
And then min-max is defined in commons module. Like this is basically just this R view stack is not something special. It's just basic view stack with like those few things. Like you can do it with like basic input is also like input range or whatever. It like will not get stylings because it's you could do it that way too. So if you need like another input, you would go to also to commons module, put some kappa here, maybe min-max validation for kappa also.
Okay, very good.
Kappa 10, then like when this data that gets pushed to the server, also probably.
Okay, and commons module is going to be the controller of everything that is going to be sent to the server, right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, and how is it connected to its level?
To its level, it's basically connected like if you go to view and like Vuex is the default state management system for Vue.js. So it's basically just I'm importing the min-max here, for example.
Okay.
Min-max state, like this is the state that.
Okay.
So I have min-max defined, min-max each of these keys. So I use here import min-max, map state, commons module min-max. Then I use it like min-max founding members.
And you are writing on the form, right?
Sorry?
You are reading from min-max in order to have
this is from min-max, yeah.
And you are writing on form or forms.
Yeah, basically I'm this is basic HTML. If I have some input, you can define like min and max. And because we have like this plugin, whatever, the one thing about this plugin though is that it reads stuff that is keyed under forms. So if I have multiple forms, let's say, I would write like form2 kappa, for example.
Okay.
And
We
if you want,
will only have one form, right? Or you are meaning that each component will have a different form?
yeah, this helper parses the things under forms. So basically, it outputs. It will read this when the component gets created, and it will create like setters and getters for form validation. So it will be like vset input founding members, which will be a function actually. Yeah, let's. I won't go into too much details, but if you like write it under forms, you can then have this at valid, which will then trigger the actual form validation, whether it's required, whether it's min or max or whatever, and then it will save the state validation state in the actual form state here, which you can see, but gets like parsed and attached to it. So basically, vset for setting the validation in every form, and I have a vget input form. So basically, if whole input form is validated, then the button and everything checks out, then the button will be enabled. If it doesn't check out, then it will be disabled.
We only have 5 minutes more. Maybe somebody else would like to ask something.
Yeah, I could maybe go over just navigation.
I have one thing quickly.
Yeah, sure.
It's more of a feature request, but it's possible that it's implemented already. I'm not sure. But when a user gets to the end of the game and they submit the parameters to the model, is there any sort of data storage that's happening, or a record keeping? Or like, is there any sort of backend database?
I don't think they've implemented anything on the backend like that. So yeah, we can't get like.
That's okay. I'm going to create a issue in the repo right now. So I guess this is more for the community here. Maybe someone wants to take this up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam.
Sorry. I think that Luca was already showing an accounts module, auth module that is there, but it's not implemented. It's just there because, yeah, we may need that in the future, right, Luca?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we use some stuff here that's like specific to, not specific, but the way we handle this, because, for example, actions always return promises, and this repromise function helper actually parses the promise and returns the same promise, but you can handle it also inside, so we don't have to write like new promise, resolve, reject, or whatever. So yeah, you can get into the nitty-gritty details. Like in the code, here is the rep promise function that just basically takes a promise, has these function handlers which you can attach, and then returns the same promise, so you don't have to like write stuff multiple times, for example. And as for the navigation, navigation is parsed based on routes for now. So for example, level 1, I'm sorry, level 1 will correspond to this guy will get highlighted on the next level, the next guy will get highlighted, etc. So it should probably work if I mean, there's no view for it, but if we add like a new level and add here like level 8 I don't know what it's going to be called, level 8. It will basically show up here. So add a new view and like level. Let's try this quickly maybe.
Great. I think that next week what we can do is to write the issues for the things that are missing in order to launch this. I think that there are very few things, such as putting the social media links or things like that. And I don't know if from the back the back end we need to tweak more things, or I think that you were already working on that, guys. But from the front end side, I think that we have a very good. It's almost complete in order to launch it.
Yeah, basically. The one thing that Mark also requested and I didn't get to do was like when you go further and then if you go back, you should be able to jump back to where you left off. That's one thing. It shouldn't take long. I will probably get to that today, tomorrow, if not today. And the second request was to make this navigation part be like hideable when you get to smaller screens, so it's like a pop-out thing or something. So we can so it leaves like more space for the actual inputs and stuff, because in smaller screens it's currently like not that doesn't fit the whole screen. On some stuff I've actually left out some parts of the where is it? Some parts of animation, for example, this one. Like if you get small screens, I've like removed the guy from here, so it can go smaller a bit. Yeah.
I have to jump off, guys, but thank you, Luca, for the presentation, and I think that it's super cool now, super clear how to continue with that. I am hoping that I am hoping up. Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks,
sorry for like not being more concise or something. I could have probably done it way better, but maybe after like a few more times it will
We're getting better. Yeah.
Well, sorry, Marco, did you have a comment there?
No, it's fine, it's fine. Go ahead.
Does anyone have any last questions before we close it? I guess the one thing is, did the back end get settled? Do we have where you change it in GitHub and then it automatically deploys? Did that end up getting figured out?
You asking me?
Yeah, I guess so.
Sorry, what was the question? If the backend is handled correctly, or
when people make changes in GitHub, does it automatically deploy to make changes?
Yeah, currently we have like our GitLab pages and the project is there, but I also push to your GitHub. But I don't know, you could probably talk to Simon about creating some I don't know,
Pipelines? Pipeline for the automation?
Yeah. To keep
continuous integration part. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Griff, that should be I guess, handled on our side once we have everything in the GitHub. So we should get someone on board to do that kind of integration.
Yeah, I thought there was an action to try to get Sem, Kai, and Luca all together to make it happen. But I guess I assume that actually hasn't happened yet.
I'm not actually that into. We have our guy that does mostly that stuff.
Okay.
Like the Dockers and whatever. I mean, I have some knowledge, but probably would be a waste of time for me to dive deep into that and help with that. But yeah, you can probably talk to Simon and he will figure something out.
Perfect. Well then, well, thank you, Luca. That was an incredible thing. I know I was making a bunch of issues during this time, and I think a couple other people were making issues too. So it's time for us to take it over. So thank you so much, Luca. It's really beautiful. It's going to be fun to work with Vue, and yeah, and thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
no problem.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. See you guys next week.